everybody. Assuming there are people in the chat, which there might be because we're definitely not late. Definitely not.
Moms wouldn't be late.
What? Moms never.
Let's see here.
How are you all doing today? You're like, do I have to answer honestly?
I feel like I'm messing with something. I'm trying to just get to... Sorry. There we go. I found it. I'm sorry.
No worries. Over here booping some buttons in the background myself, as one does. Okay, what are we drinking? Obviously, I have coffee. No, I did not go out, sadly.
I have water, but I do have some flavor in it.
Ooh, what kind of flavor?
It's like a cherry, blackberry, something.
Ooh,
flavor.
fancy. Love that for you.
Thank you.
I have coffee as well in my cute little coffee mug.
That is the
How
cutest
do you coffee
mug.
that late at night?
Isn't it
She
so
has to be
pretty?
here.
I know. I love pretty mug.
Yeah, it's gorgeous.
I drink coffee like at all hours of the day. Like I'll drink this and go to bed. It's
What?
Yeah.
But does it wake you up right now? I have questions. I have so many questions.
no, it doesn't. I know it's bad. I just do it for comfort now.
That is amazing to me.
Yeah, it's crazy.
In my head, I mean, you guys saw me at HopeCon last year. It was like I had coffee because I knew it was gonna be a late night. What was it, like 5? And I was like, I was wired. What was that?
Not my problem. James is the same way. He'll like down coffee like right before bed and go right to sleep.
Wow.
Y'all are
So
made for each other.
I feel like that's very much a
What do you mean, what did I do?
Midwest thing, though, because I do feel like there's like the people in the Midwest. I mean, when we go back to the farm in North Dakota, I mean, it's like first thing in the morning till at night, and it's just constant. You're always making new pots of coffee because people might come over, and I'm like, what is happening?
True.
Listen, I'm not moving to the Midwest, but that sounds great.
But you might be moving.
No. Is Indiana Midwest? I don't even know if I'll end up there, but you know,
It is technically, yeah.
Yes.
Is it like the front porch of the Midwest? Kind of, you know what I mean? Like sort of, kind of, but not really.
Yeah, I was like, I don't really know what that means.
Middle. I mean, doesn't it? It like almost is it next to? Does it border Missouri?
Actually, I think technically people don't usually consider Indiana like the Midwest, but
What do they consider?
I mean, I feel like it's Midwestern-ish.
It's not East Coast.
Yeah, no. I
Yeah,
guess
that's
it's
true.
in
Like, it's
between.
not New England.
Yeah, no.
It's Midwest.
Like how
Definitely
you're
more
like, no.
Midwest.
Amazing.
Oh, hello, people. Sorry, I
Hi.
just got chat ups, and I can see that there's people here saying hi.
So good to have you. Thanks for coming to hang out with us. Sorry for my slight distraction. I'm just booping a few buttons in the background, as one does.
Lots of boobs.
Because it doesn't like me, okay? There, Chelsea's better now. I'm sorry, Chelsea. I'm sorry you keep getting bullied by my computer ineptitude.
It's okay.
It's not okay.
You can just like cover the whole screen. Just cover the whole.
No.
Do we have an Ask a Mom alert or anything?
We do not. No. Sadly, our little Ask a Mom alert buddy kind of went offline for Twitch. So basically, we just need to catch any questions that may or may not come up in chat, and I can put them up there. But until then, we're just going to be hanging out. And now that I'm not making something, I want to say hi, Happy Hippo. Hi, John. Hi, Galaxy. It's so good to see you. All right. Hi, Temple Snail. I knew there was another one in there. I'm like, I'm missing someone, but they're all green. Or at least on my end, they're all green. But I did want to officially welcome you guys to our Mother's Day stream. We're going to have a great evening together. We're going to hang out. We're going to share some laughs. We're going to share some memes together that we have not seen. So we're all going to be reacting live on stream to some mom memes. And then we're going to have some really cool discussions about biblical parenting and specifically biblical motherhood and any of the many avenues that that could possibly take. So amid any of that, if you want to ask us any questions or you wanted a biblical mom's perspective on any and everything that seems pertinent to what we could speak to, please feel free to ask. But if you don't want to ask in a public setting like a live stream, please know that we are always accessible in our Hopeful Disasters Discord. We would love to see you there and support you there if you aren't there already. And let's see, my last announcement is, speaking of supporting you, we would love to see you in person if possible. We are hosting an in-person event this summer, July 19th through 21st in Seattle, Washington, which would be really cool, like literally mid-July. It is actually cool, so you should come hang out and get some actual in-person high fives from us. Come to HopeCon 2024, and if you can't make it but you feel led to support in some way, we could definitely use some prayers, any advice you might like to give for organizing an event and making it a great blessing and a great time together. But also, we are running a fundraiser in which we will match up to a certain amount to be able to sponsor somebody who can't otherwise come to HopeCon but would love to have that in-person fellowship. So it would be so great if any of that is on your heart. Please either inquire in the Discord, or I know there's commands for it, but honestly, I have a headache, which those of you who know me can already tell. So forgive me that I don't remember the commands, but I bet you guys do because you're awesome. So may even be in the title, actually. I don't know that I took them out of the title from last time. We could go check. But that's it. That's all I got. They are? Woo! Look at that. Accidentally super organized.
That's why even Headache Tommy runs this, because she knows.
Maybe. Hi, Stuart. Okay, you know what it is? Hang on, guys. I'll be more of a human if I... did you guys ever watch the movie Zoolander? I'm not saying it's a good movie. It's not a good movie. But there's this moment where he's like, I can't turn left, you know? And I've got a second monitor that we've not had we've not had for a while, set up over here on my left all of the sudden. And my chat was over there. And I'm like, oh, I can't turn left because... Anyways, that was me. But now I'll be fine because my chat's in front of me so I can see y'all. It'll be grand.
Somebody clip that. I can't turn left. So good, Tommy.
So let's see in the chat who, if you haven't said it already, because I haven't gone back through the chat, who is definitely going to come to HopeCon. I would love to see if you guys are here in chat and coming to HopeCon. I think I see at least 2 people that are definitely going to be at HopeCon, aside from the us. Is this the kind of music moms like? Some moms do. Is it too loud though, Temple Snail? I was supposed to ask that. My husband was like, ask the people if the music's too loud.
I don't even hear music.
What'd you say?
I don't even hear music. But...
All right. That means it's not too loud.
Yeah, but Temple heard it. It's kind of music moms like.
All right, Temple thinks it's too loud. I will boop it down just a little, and we'll go from there. The other thing is so true. If you guys watch like any of my YouTube videos, you will absolutely know this is a fact. I can never get my music right. I either feel like my voice, which is tiny and obnoxious, is fighting with the music, or the music is just winning and it's like, what is she saying? Good thing there's captions. I don't know. And so in so many of my videos, I'm just like, I'm not going to mess with music because I'm always like fiddling with one or the other of the volume levels. And it's honestly more of a headache than it's worth. No loud music, pun intended there. And snails don't have ears. Oh my goodness. That's it. You broke me. Oh my goodness. Oh,
Did it.
man, I miss live streams. I miss all those quick wit comments that people will make, like snails don't have ears.
No, it's been a while since there's been regular Tommy streams
Mm-hmm. It is because
in life.
it is life. It is also that in the background of content creation, I am obsessing over a few projects and really trying to get them off the ground and get them off the ground well, which means I have to go dark in other areas of life, which kind of stinks, but it's one of those like quality over quantity things. And like, I'd rather get through the gates with a solid plan for things, especially if and when people are counting on me or doing things with me. So there's a whole lot of that. But yes, I very much so miss live streams. And I even said to Nate, who's my husband, in case you guys don't know, I said, hey, guess what? By June, I want to think of a regular stream schedule because I think I should be streaming over the summer and it would be really fun and I miss community. So look for it in the future, maybe, possibly. Although I am canonically like a month ahead of myself in, what's the word? Not aptitude, but like hopefulness. Like, yeah, I'll totally get that done by then. You guys probably know the word. So, you know, July, maybe. And then we can play some trios. Chelsea and Wayfler, because you guys are so good at it. No, you are. Come on. I've seen you play. Okay, Happy Hippo said, for Mother's Day, I got my mom some turquoise jewelry. It's her birthday stone color. That's so cool. That's very thoughtful. It's really, moms love it when you like, and women love it in general, when you like connect together things that they care about. Good job. Don't you wonder what perception humans are missing? I absolutely do. There are so many things that I think about the animal kingdom and what we could be missing out on as people. But also, isn't it interesting to think that so much of what you see animals do is on instinct instead of the ability to reason and to operate and think like the Lord? That is something that I ponder over so often. And it's a beautiful gift to have a complicated mind. Hey, you know, birthday stone just sounds better too. Like, feels like you have more ownership there too. Like, this is my birthday stone. Like, it's not even your birthstone. Like, what's that? Did you get it at birth? No, this stone is in honor of my birthday. See, it's cooler.
Yeah, you just made it super epic, is what you
I
did.
mean, look at Chelsea.
Yeah.
She's even like, birthday stone. It's just, she knows. She's feeling it.
That's part of why I loved it so much. I was like, this is perfect. It like checks a lot of boxes. Birthday stone, anniversary thing.
Aw,
So many boxes.
I love it.
I love it.
Okay, wait. So that is an anniversary ring. Okay, so Kristen, same question. Does anything associated with your wedding have a connection also to your birthstone or birthday stone, as it's, you know, TM now called?
I don't think so. No connection.
All right,
I
fair,
actually
fair.
don't know what. Yeah, I'm like, my birthday's in June. What is June birthday stone?
Pearl.
Oh,
Look cute.
I know, you're like,
I'm more-
everyone collectively is like, that's not a stone. Okay, well, it was, all right. At some point.
At some point, it was a pebble that annoyed an animal so much that.
No. It was refined. It was refined by the covering over time. It is a sanctified stone. I love where this is going.
for a headache, you're on it. You're like
You
taking
are.
this
It's
deep.
because you see, what happens is I just sort of turn off the should you say that right now part of my brain when I have a headache. It's not really deliberate. So it may be good right this second, but you just give me a few minutes and something really derpy will come out. No, I promise.
That's what the clip button's for.
Well, on my wedding band that Nate actually surprised, like I wasn't expecting it. He surprised me at the altar with it, which was really cute. He had it custom made, and on it has 3 crosses. One to represent Christ, and the other 2 to represent choices that we can make in our marriage, whether or not we're going to honor the Lord or whether or not we're going to go our own way and not trust in God for all aspects of our marriage and life. And on opposite sides of the cross that's meant to represent Jesus, there's a little dinky my husband's birthday stone, and a little dinky my birthday stone. So I just think it's cool that Chelsea has a birthday stone and is sort of connected with her wedding too, and fun. Hi Raymond, welcome in.
Yay.
I love temple snail. Oh, sorry.
No, I was just gonna, it's, a birthstone is just, I think it's just kind of fun. I don't know, does it have any more meaning, Tommy? I feel like you like know a lot, but like, so I think it's just something that's like fun that you can say, like, I was born this month, like, this is my, you know, associated with the month I was born. I don't think it has necessarily any like deeper meaning than that, but I don't know.
I will also openly say that I don't know, but my inner cynic is like, it probably was some marketing ad or campaign at some point. I don't actually know that, but you know, now I know what I'm going to be doing at 3 a.m. I'm going to be researching like, why are there birthday stones? Of course, Google's going to be like, did you mean birthstones? So, you know, Google's about to get corrected. Stuart, thank you so much for this sub. That is so kind of you. I really, truly appreciate it. Thank you. That's so sweet. Which reminds me, I need to set up emotes, but I'll just make a mental note of that. I love what Temple Snail said here, and this is the last comment I'm going to read before I switch us over to a little bit of a mom memes moment, if you're all up for that. Temple Snail said, pearls were the most valuable gem in the ancient world. They weren't crazy about diamonds back then. And what I love about this comment is about the topic of implied value, because how we determine value is based on what someone else is willing to give up for obtaining the first thing. And not only do I kind of laugh at the whole world system of like money and barter and who decides what's the valuable and standards and measures and all of that, but I think often about the reality of the gospel. And I think often about my loud turned up volume awareness of my ineptitude and my shortcomings and the way that I feel like those make me less than worthy. And often it's actually very true that they make me less valuable because I can really bring down a lot of things with those shortcomings. But I'm not the one, or my actions even aren't what determine my value, because God was willing to pay for me to be near to him again with the blood of his own son, giving up his very life because he thought I was that valuable. And I can't argue with that, and I don't even want to like accept it, but God over and over again asks us to. And so there is an element still of, you're a derp, you need to get better, focus on the Lord, practice the Bible, all those good things. But I don't get to sit here and say I'm worthless by the world standard, or even my own standard, which is included in the world. I need to look at what the word says about me and what the word says about my value.
Absolutely. I think it's so easy in a consumeristic world too that we live in to look at all these other things and find value in it. And so I love that perspective, Tommy, of bringing it back to I feel like there's like truth, right? And then like truth, never changing truth. And I love that you're like, all these other things might be true for a season, or someone might say they're true about me or whatever, but like, what is the truth? And the truth is our values from the Lord above and nothing else. Hard to live out, easy to remember. Well, sometimes.
Yes, love that. Okay, wait. So is Woofler in chat actually Woofler? Just let me know. real quick.
That's totally fair. No, it's me on his computer because I don't have any device that actually streams or does anything.
No worries. None whatsoever. I just didn't want to talk to Ryan if he wasn't here.
Actually, he could end up like kicking me off of here because he's taking Danny to baseball, and once he's there, I feel like he's gonna try to pop on. So I might get kicked off, or it might double up or something.
All right. Well, I mean, apparently the real Ryan is actually here and standing up. So, oh, praise God. All right. Well, hello, Whiffler. Been praying for you. Hope you're feeling better. Let Danny know we're cheering for him. And let's get into some mom memes, shall we? Yes, yes, collective yes. Let's see if I boop the right buttons. Step 1. Oh wait, yeah, because my chat's in my way. Do 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 do. Oh, I broke it. Please hold.
Beba, hi.
Hello, Beba.
So glad you're here.
Indeed, fellow wonderful mom and streamer. Welcome back stateside, girl. Excuse me.
Are you liking the heat? Do you like heat, Beba? I mean, if you do, it might not feel that hot to you.
Heat?
Yeah, I was like, it's not hot in Washington.
It's 80 degrees here today. This weekend is lovely. I'm planting everything. It's wonderful. Come plant all my cucumbers. No, it's not hot.
So okay, we planted some things a couple of weeks ago, and then it got up to like 102 degrees and they all died. So that's Phoenix. Don't move here.
You have to cover them. You have to protect them.
Yeah. No, I don't want to talk about it.
I was like, what did you plant? What did you try?
Little like onions and flowers and stuff. Okay. Are you ready for some memes?
Yeah.
By the way, do you guys all love this beautiful background and setup? This was all created by Chelsea, except for my janky words up there. But everything else was all Chelsea, so thank you for making this. It looks lovely. Okay.
Happy.
It is very happy. So first, we have me in the morning. No, just kidding. Mom, you need a haircut, son. No, I don't. Also, son. I mean, can you even see? Okay. So this is really, really funny to me because one of my nephews, who shall not be named, was like absolutely the kid with just the hair all across his face, even as a, teenager, 13, 14. But he was in baseball, he was in football, but he was, I think he gave himself permanent neck problems because he was always like, you know what I mean? And his mom was throwing up her hands and saying, oh, he needs a haircut. I'm like, so make him get a haircut. I don't know what to say. He needs one. He's not gonna be able to see. And then sadly, I think he got in a little bit of a bicycle accident, like couldn't see where he was going and like hit a rock or something. And so after that, he cut his hair.
That'll do it.
Yeah. But like, I don't want to be mean, but you're like natural consequences.
Oh, I know.
But like, have you guys seen Ellie's hair? That's her. She just has that wild mess of like matted curls, and like the back of it mats, and then the front's just like curls, and then you try to pin it out, and she pulls out the bows all the time, so it's just hair.
Oh.
But she also is in that phase where she likes to like put things over her head and then just run. You know, you can't see, but natural consequences coming your way.
Yeah,
Yes.
you're like, when you run into that tree, I'm so sorry.
I mean, I used to think like the little phrase, like, keep the tiny humans alive was just a silly joke. I'm like, who actually has to what kid is trying to end their life? Just kidding. I'm so sorry I ever thought that.
Yeah, like every toddler everywhere.
It's not just toddlers, ladies. I don't mean to scare you, but teenagers, they bring a whole other level of like, I'm totally invincible. What are you talking about?
Well, that's probably true.
So you have like 2 baby toddler phases, right? Like the first involves a lot more hands-on with mom, and it's obvious, and it's the one everyone knows. But then the other baby toddler phase is like baby toddler adult phase. Like we're not quite adult yet, but we got all the adult capabilities and self-determination, and then it's great, and you want to celebrate it. Unless they're being not so great and you don't want to celebrate it. But it's okay.
Stop.
You're gonna do great day by day.
Definitely day by day.
Good night, buddy. Sorry I missed you. Need to find harmony with my chat here. Okay, are we ready for meme number 2? Also, I felt a little conflicted pulling in a verse from Job. I didn't want to be all like, oh, moms understand the book of Job. You know what I mean? Like, oh, we understand suffering and love and all of that. But it seemed fitting. It is true, Beba. So Beba is over here like explaining something about her little sweetie, and having met your sweetie in person, she's so like quiet and balanced and reserved, but like not in a bad way, and she's just the sweetest little being. So I can see what you're talking about. Aw, hi Hannah. Isn't it fun? Like I watch movies like The Fiddler on the Roof, and it kind of makes me yearn for that kind of like really involved community. I've been thinking about this a lot lately. The Wolfler family gets to experience this, but I think to some degree, more so than I think I've ever had, but just this idea of like, you've grown up in this community, you know a lot of the adults in your life and in your circle, and like they've watched you from when you were little, and like you went to school with a lot of the people that you currently do life with. And I feel like there's so much of that isn't really true about a lot of people's experience these days, mine included. It's like a novel kind of thought, like, oh, I've been reading through the book of Matthew, right? And like that's so much of how the Jewish community like spoke and interact with one another. They're like, wait a minute, don't we know this kid? Isn't he Joseph's son? Like, anyway, little Tommy thoughts. Hi, Faith. So good to see you. Thanks for coming in today. When you just finished cleaning and you see your kid eating crackers, oh no, of course. And somehow they found the peanut butter, right?
Oh my goodness, my kids are like the messiest eaters. I'm like, what? Why are there like everything strewn all over the entire floor and your seat and the like? How did any of it get in your mouth? I don't understand. Yes, I feel this.
That's Ellie all the time too. It's like, she's to the phase where she won't eat anything like out of the container it comes in. She just wants to dump it all wherever she is. And then it's like, why? But yes, that exactly too. And it goes back to too, like, so then she'll like put it in her hair and then it's just like everywhere.
Oh no. My grandma used to say to me, you know, the floor's not hungry. I'm like, okay, grandma.
I'm not even a mom and I feel that picture. So good. I know, right? Like it's just so devastating.
You know, we just had a birthday party for Prudence, woo, and some of our adult friends came over to celebrate her with us, and one of them said, you know, and the house wasn't even very messy or anything. It was just a little loud, and then we took the kids to the park so they could use their little handmade game we just made with them. So there were like crafting supplies out and, you know, whatever. And to me, it's like, I'm not really fazed. But my friend was like, oh, you know, this is so busy and it's so much chaos. Like, doesn't it stress you out? And I said, you know, one day I'm going to have a quiet, empty house. I'm going to have no crafts to clean up, and any messes or laundry are going to be entirely my own doing. And I'm going to miss these days. So I want to make the most of them right now in this season because it's so temporary. And even though I know that, like, my oldest is turning 19 in a month. And my second oldest is going to be 18 in 6 months. And I'm like, what? What?
Yeah.
It goes.
Yeah. Long. It's. I mean, like we. I feel like every mom kind of like laughs at the phrase of like long days, short years, and we're like, yeah, we get it, we agree. But then you sit with a child and you're looking back, and obviously it's that much more accentuated with your 19 and 18, you know, like with that age, and you're just like, wait, I blinked, it's gone, what happened? It's one of those where I do feel like I'm like, oh, I gotta take this one more seriously and remember, like, be in this moment, enjoy it.
Yes.
That's when I just play Ordinary Days.
What was that, Chelsea?
I'll just always play JJ Heller's Ordinary Days when I'm like, okay, I just need to like remember that I'm gonna miss this and like just try to enjoy it where I'm at. Because just like we were talking about earlier, Kristen, like I have a bad habit of like living in the future so much that I'm always like planning or thinking. And even with like Ellie, there are moments in like Charlotte's, you know, babyhood, because I struggle in like the very newborn phase. It's just not my favorite phase of children. And there's so many things that I was like, oh, like, you know, I'm just trying to get to like this point and to this point. And then looking back, I was like, oh man, like I missed these things. These things were so easier. Like these, you know, would have been really sweet moments. And then with Ellie, I was like, okay, well, I'm gonna have like the baby snuggles and I'll get to have these things and I can appreciate them more. And then Ellie's like a completely different baby. She doesn't really like snuggles, you know, like all these things. And I'm like, oh, it's okay. You can just do it the next one. I'm like, nope, because sometimes kids are completely different. And so that's why it's like all the more like in my brain, like, okay, you just have to try to like enjoy each one with however they are, like in the moment that they are, because even if you have more kids, it's not a guarantee that you're gonna have those moments that in hindsight you're like, those were great moments, like back. So you just have to do your best to just enjoy them all like, where they're at when they're happening, which I struggle with. But
I have a friend who always says, be present, not perfect, or, you know, kind of a concept. Like, it doesn't have to be perfect, it doesn't, but be present. And then you'll look back and feel like that was worth it. And I'm always like, oh, I gotta remember these things.
Yeah, I think those were both so well said, and it made me think of we can get so busy with work, with ministry, with like just trying to catch our breath at all, right? Sometimes. I have been doing a few things intentionally over the last year that I think have really improved just certain elements of the fact that my family is very busy, yet also we want sincere connection. And one of them is, I mean, this is such a basic thing, right? But just giving them like my full positive attention sometimes, because I can talk and text at the same time. And like I realized by observing, people's behavior around me that some people don't like that. And so I was like, oh, well, I don't want to be rude to people that I care about. So if my kid comes to talk to me, I'll either say, just 1 second, and I'll boop, boop, boop and put it down, or I'll just entirely put it down and give them like my full positive eye contact. And the other thing too is I've started to just show them more affection than is necessary, because it's what's in my heart, right? I love them and I want to spend time with them and hear about their day, and I want to hug them. And so I've just been like hugging my children for no reason as I walk past them, or I'll reach for them as they walk past me or whatever. And I mean, 9 times out of 10, they come in for a hug too. They stay there. Like, I don't let go first. Like, I saw that on the internet somewhere. I'm like, yeah, that's a great, yeah, I'm not going to let go first anymore. It's going to be there. And you know what? There have been actual 5-minute hugs, even from my almost 18-year-old teenage boy, which he laughs at me because he's so much taller than me now. And he's like, hee hee hee. But highly recommend.
Hi, Star Fox.
I'm muted. That was one thing about my little thing I got from Charlotte they made at school, and I thought it was so cute. Like, one of the things that she said was like, my mommy's like happy when I give her hugs or something like that. Which is so true, because I'm always like, and you guys know I'm not like a hugger person in general, but like I do love like being affectionate with my kids and like snuggling with them, and so I always give her like a lot of hugs, and it sometimes she's like, "Mommy, stop hugging me." It's like
Aw.
usually the way she's like, "Leave me alone," but so I thought it was really sweet whenever she put like, "My mommy's really happy when I hug her." I'm like, "Yes, I'm happy when you give
Aw.
me hugs. I love it."
That's so precious. I love it. How do I say your name? Is it Shaiki? Shaiki? Thank you, Twitch, for recommending this. I'll open another beer in honor of this. That's a crack up. I'm so glad that you're spending your relaxed time with us. I'm not really super familiar with a whole bunch of beers, but hey, what are you drinking? And I'm gonna go back through some other comments here and see. You guys said some wonderful. Nope, that was my brain trying to talk and then restarting itself. I'm gonna say that again. You all said some wonderful things in the comments that I wanted to highlight before we move on to our next meme. For example, a few minutes ago, I was talking about the idea of community and how we don't always have like the kind of community that maybe even our grandparents had or our great grandparents had, where just everybody kind of knows you and was some part of you being raised up. And Hannah said, we moved around a ton because of my dad's job. I'm assuming military, but let me know. And we were homeschooled. So did you have a positive homeschooling experience? I'm going to go out on a limb here and say that it was between the 90s and the 2000s, but let me know if I'm right or wrong there, because homeschooling today is so much different than even when I started homeschooling 12, 13 years ago. My goodness, 13 years ago. Woo.
Look at you.
I know, right? Derping my way along.
You're a veteran. You got it.
It has been such a blessing, and I pray that anyone who wants to homeschool gets to, because at the risk of sounding like total conspiracy theory here, I think it has really insulated our family from just a lot of things that I may not have been able to address well if we were, schooling outside of the home. And I think that each family and parent is different. And I think that each person needs to be rendered in obedience to the Lord, and God will guide you appropriately. But like for our family, it felt like obedience to homeschool. So I'm glad that we did. And I'll just be totally upfront. We did it very imperfectly. I made a lot of mistakes, but hey, we're here.
I'm with you, Beba. We're trying to get the Tommies to move here.
Girl, I just need to make enough money. I don't know what to tell you.
Don't we all? Oh my goodness.
I like have a U-chart. Just live there forever. Forever long gnomes.
It's true. We'll just create the compound. Everyone just move here.
I keep telling you guys that's too culty. It's not
No,
good for our image.
it's not a
Except that,
compound.
it
It's a
sounds
neighborhood.
culty. But like the reality is that it's just community.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, actually,
Yeah.
Tommy, it's funny that you're saying that, because I was like reading a book a while back, and it was talking about how like families now seem to struggle more, and like that whole idea of like it takes the village, and people feel like they don't have villages anymore.
Mm-hmm.
And that is something that this book was talking about, is like that's actually a true reality, because 30 years ago, our parents' generation, people did tend to live near their family, and so they did have a huge support system helping each other. So I mean, that really is a reality, and here in like the United States especially, like that's changed drastically over the last like 50 years or so, but there's still a lot of other, like if you look at other countries like that's still how they work. I mean, they still are very much in community, with more of like that communal helping people, having that true village, and that's why like there's a lot more of like stress and struggles with like the American parents especially. It's just because we have all become isolated from families and have such a minimal support system to help raise kids. There's no tribe, there's no village.
I think that's so well said. There's a reel that I saw months ago now, but it really highlights this. And it was essentially this mom and dad walking with their children, and they were kind of doing the were they doing like the of course thing, which I love. And also we may or may not be having some of those come out on our socials, so keep your eyes open. But they were talking about how where they lived, where their parents lived, was too expensive and didn't have enough job opportunities for both of them, the husband and wife. So they moved to where there were job opportunities, but then the cost of living went up. And so they were like never able to go out or do anything, and they didn't know anybody where they lived, so they were essentially saying they'd have to hire their community. Like, our family isn't here, so we have to pay for a babysitter, or we don't have an after school person, so we have to pay for our community, we have to pay for our village. And I have a lot of like tin hat thoughts about this that maybe I'll save for another stream, but it does speak to like kind of a systemic problem, and I don't know entirely the answer. Like, I will never sit here and say it's as simple as like we just need to get back to like biblical womanhood and biblical manhood. Like, it is not that simple. It is not that cut and dry. There are so many factors that have made life set up what it is right now. And so that's why I said a minute ago, like, I'm grateful that we could homeschool, that like that was an option that we were able to lean into. And even though we had to do a bunch of things and sacrifice to get there, and it impacted like the way that we live, and it still impacts the way that we live, it was a worthy trade-off. But I fully recognize that, like, just like the people in the reel, not everyone can make that trade-off. Sometimes you have to like follow down paths that line up with choices you've already made, and like that doesn't make those choices inherently evil. It just makes them realities, right? And so it breaks my heart. Which is why we should all live in the same neighborhood. And it's not a compound. Modern solutions for modern problems. Okay, comments. Hey, Trumpet, I've been praying for you and your son. Potty training is such a hilarious, frustrating, and rewarding experience. My personal advice, which you are not asking for, is miniature M&Ms and lots of praise and patience. They'll get it eventually. We all did, as is evidence.
They will not go to college in diapers. I feel like every time like a first mom like does the potty train, I'm like, they eventually, exactly what you said, they eventually get it. I have not seen a college kid in diapers ever. So at some point it'll click.
There's so many working jobs from home now anyways.
I mean, they'll never know.
You guys can't see it. No, I'm just kidding. Can't see the bottom half of me right now.
Right? Full disclosure, like, just kidding.
Yes, babe, sticker charts. Sticker charts.
Yeah.
Depends on the kid.
That was the money for Charlotte. She was all about the stickers. I mean, it didn't work. We had to do other things in the end, but the sticker self.
Yeah, another thing that like
real.
Go ahead.
Go, Tommy.
I talk all the time.
I was going to say. I was super intense with Danny, like no one's surprised. Like with my first, like I read the book, I was like, and he did great, honestly. But I was like, we're doing it. You're naked for 3 days. I'm like not leaving your side. And every time there's anything, like we're gonna make this like process, and he did do well, but that wasn't like there was never any accidents or whatever, But with my other two, it was just like, oh yeah, we'll potty train, and we kind of did it, and it was just like I was way more relaxed, and it was just like, oh, when like I'll just every time I think about it, I'll put you on the potty, and then eventually I'll ask you to tell me, and like. They were still naked for however long, because that's just kind of our house, to be honest.
Your kids do like to just be naked, though. So.
What's funny is, like, way less than, like, my nephews, but, it does feel like... And we live in an area where no one can see us, so I do let them be a little more...
Free range.
Free range parenting, yeah. Sadie, when Tommy lived here, Sadie would just... wiggle her little cell phone over, and all of a sudden I'd get a text from Nate or Tommy being like, oh hey, we've got a little Sadie here, just wanted to let you know.
Yeah, because when she's not in the yard, I imagine that would be stressful. Like I let her in the backyard. Why don't I see her? Where did she go? She'd go to the fort in the front yard. My favorite though is when she came over in a full dragon/dinosaur costume. That was tops. That was like, I'm probably gonna make it my phone background at some point here. It was a great moment.
Well, once you guys showed her the light show too, she was always like, lights.
She was such a smart little bean. Yeah, so another thing that really helped us with potty training, because we weren't in an environment where we could like do the whole naked thing, and we had carpet everywhere too, so that wasn't really an option, or at least they didn't care, but we did. Was actually like those cloth underwear that are like a little more thick in the front. I think they're called potty training underwear. I don't know. I haven't had to buy any for a very long time. Yeah, they are. But like, because we were doing the little disposable things, and the kid was like, whatever, it's a diaper. Like, even though they could feel the difference, like apparently it wasn't that much of a difference to them. But once they went over to the big kid undies, it was a whole new thing. They're like, I'm super uncomfortable, and what do I do about it? You know? So
Ellie has been putting Charlotte's like old underwear like over her onesies, and like insists on wearing them over her onesies, so she looks like Little Captain Underpants just running around. And it's really cute, but there's a part of me that's like, okay, this isn't how we wear our underwear, and like, is this actually hurting the situation? Because now you're just like wearing them on top of your diaper and your onesie, but you're really cute doing it, so like I almost don't want to stop you, but I feel like this is just gonna hurt our potty training. So I'm like, ooh. It's like one of those mom moments where you're like, well, like, do I need to stop this, or is it gonna be
Oh, I'm sure it'll all work out in the end. Just take pictures for yourself, because one day you're gonna love them.
Yeah, my phone has so many of those. It's a problem.
Yay! I've actually started taking videos again of my family, like little 10 to 15 second videos of just our everyday life, because we did this thing, we do this thing for everyone's birthday where we like put together a collection of all their pictures, and we'll just like go through a slideshow and like share memories, and it's sort of like a little family tradition. And then for 18th birthday, we print out the pictures and like put them everywhere, which is really fun. And at any rate, so we got to a certain age or like a certain season of life, and I realized, oh, I did not take a lot of pictures, because that's when the camera broke, and this was before smartphones were good, you know, and so I regret not having some of those. So now I just kind of like capture life all the time in little 10 to 15 second increments.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah, at first my teens were like, Mom, what are you doing? And now they're like, oh, that's so cute. You want to take a video of us? I love you.
Hi, boxing elephant.
Hey.
Charlotte definitely has her favorite videos. She's used to like seeing some of hers, especially when she's like 2. There's some where like she'll, especially if she's like, I don't know, she's really wanting time to go, she'll be like, Mom, do you wanna watch Sparkle Baby together? We can snuggle and watch Sparkle Baby. There's just like funny videos of her when she's like little, and there's glitter in the living room, and she kept calling them Sparkle Babies, and it's just adorable.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
I love this.
So like she remembers some of her videos, and she just loves to watch them. Which again, I'm like, is this a bad thing or a good thing? Like, I love it because I like watching them, but I don't know if she should like watching them as much as she does.
No, my kids love it too.
Okay, then it's not weird.
No, not weird.
So actually, this is one of those points where psychology and the Bible agree. Who'd have thought? But studies have shown that children who know their parents delight in them are actually healthier, emotionally healthier adults, and they're typically adults. They're like 45% more likely to become entrepreneurs or business owners.
Interesting.
Which I feel
Probably
like
they
being a
believe in
mom
themselves.
falls into that category. Just saying, like, I feel like even being a stay-at-home mom falls into the, like, I have to manage a bunch of things creatively and well with a happy heart, you know, like. Yeah. Okay, so Ping has some advice for us, I'm sure, at some point, because Ping says, I'm already an empty nester. And of course, biblically, we want the older ones to pour advice into us. So always feel free to. And I love your little joke here of single as a Pringle. Anything that rhymes, I'm here. Hannah, I love that Zelda took your, my words just stopped, but your little baby's brand new baby pictures. That is so cute. I've always thought that being like a newborn or a child photographer must have so many challenges, but be like hilariously and adorably rewarding as well. Like that little moment that you shared, which is super cute. At 2, he was reading. That is so cool. I was really enthusiastic about teaching my kids to read, so they were all reading pretty young too. All right, let me get caught up real quick. Hi, Star Fox. Sorry for my delay in saying hello to you. Your dad was working for Bank of America? That is so cool. Wow, senior vice president. So like quick tiny backstory, my mom worked for Bank of America when it was Bank of America, and then it became Chase, which, or then it became Bank One, and then it became Chase. And so that's a very cool connection. Come homeschool my kid for me, Tommy, and come live here. Okay, so like yes to both. I will be right over. Just. Oh, it doesn't work that way. Rude.
You're like, come on.
I know, but I would. That'd be so fun, actually. Like, I never got the chance to, given, you know, just our RV and our travels and such, but I did kind of always see myself as like the landing spot mom, if you will. And I thought maybe I would like run a homeschool class, which I kind of did for a little while, but you know, I thought I would continue, but then we moved. So, oh, you love a family compound. You miss your mom. I understand. I'm just catching up on comments. Your husband chose to move to your state. We met and dated long distance, so I could be close to family. That's cool. That's super cool. I'm always like amazed at the stories that start out of like, we actually dated long distance. I'm like, wow, that's awesome. Because you think like, oh no, that's not. You hear people say like they're dating someone long distance, and your first thought is like, that's not going to work. But like, actually, I have a lot more stories now of people who are like, you know, that did work in my life. Like, been married the whole time. Like, it's cool.
It's really cool.
Peanut M&Ms. I just got like the Unreal like peanut M&M version. I don't know if I'm gonna like them or not, but I just had like a random craving. So I'll report back if they're good or not. Okay, who's a Sunday school teacher for girls? Oh, Zelda's so good with children. I bet Zelda's good with anybody, let's be real. But yes, she's very sweet to my children. I can attest. When she came over for a visit, that was very fun. Okay, shall we move on? Before becoming a parent, I didn't know I could ruin someone's day by simply asking them to put pants on. Facts. Oh my goodness. Or
Literally, Charlotte.
Yeah. So like,
It's a struggle to get her dressed.
oh no.
Yeah. And not because she doesn't like to wear clothes, she does. She just, I don't know. Getting dressed is definitely a struggle point. Like every day, we even timed it the other day because I'm like, let me understand like why this is so hard every day. Like, is it a time thing? Because it took 7 seconds.
Oh my goodness.
We're working on it.
That's amazing. So is it?
Oh, go ahead.
No, you don't.
I was just gonna say, yeah, like sometimes getting out of pajamas is just a rough decision for the day. Like, why would we get out of our pajamas to go do anything? This is, yeah.
I mean, deep questions. I feel like your children are more philosophical than anything at that point.
Well, then you have Ellie that's like, I'm putting shoes on and accessories on, even if I have like pajamas on. Like she's obsessed with shoes and she wants shoes on at all times.
Aww.
And most of the time, not her shoes. She wants like her sister's shoes on, or she just always loved shoes on. She has ever since she was like a teeny toddler. She would be like in her zip up onesies and she'd be like putting boots on. I'm like, okay.
This is
That's so
adorable.
cute.
This is adorable.
So cute.
Yeah, so is Charlotte more of like a, it's not that I don't want to do it, it's just that you told me to do it, so now I don't want to because I want to do it on my terms.
I mean, that's her personality in a nutshell. But but no, I don't even think it's that because we let her pick. But yeah, I don't know. That's my thing. Like lately, it's just like, okay, this is something you haven't grown out of, and you're fine now. Like this is still a difficult part of the day. Like so, I'm like in the investigating phase of like, let's figure out why this is hard and how do we make it easier. So I haven't figured out the why yet, but I'm working on it.
Right. So I echo Beba's thoughts here and like our whole conversation around pajamas. And I often ask myself, like, why don't more of our socially acceptable clothing feel like pajamas? Like, why don't they look like amazing, but feel like pajamas? Feel like we need to correct this. Also, I really do want to bake you muffins, Beba, and I hope I get to. And I'm really glad that you liked them when I brought them to you. I cannot relate with being always cold, although I will say when I visited Washington, it's just so different. Like there's just like this element of cold to Washington, whereas I'm very aware of the element of just always warm in Phoenix. Like in Washington, I had to wear, you're gonna laugh, Kristen, I had to wear like a silk like base layer because I was just cold, but I wasn't complaining. I was like, I'm cold. And then I got to Phoenix and I was wearing the exact same thing and I'm like, oh, back to the t-shirt, oh my goodness, I'm gonna die. So you know, I want to leave. It's my next stream fundraising goal, actually, is like get me out of not here. Wait a second, we've gone backwards. Okay. All right. Hey, that's all of our stills. What? 77 degrees. No.
Yeah. It's warm. It's warm.
It's warm. It's very warm.
It's warm.
Okay. I also have some very fun videos that people have shared with us. So let me just pull that up and get that started over here. Some of these are from Woofler, so I am both excited and, I'm not going to lie, just a little bit nervous because he's kind of a wild card. Can I say that? He's kind of a wild card.
You can definitely say that. You never know what direction he's going.
I know. Okay. You guys talk about something for a second. Something's not working the way it ought to. So I gotta fix it.
We're not good at that part.
Yeah, you're the constant. We just pop in with nice little comments every once in a while.
Yep. Very cool. You're just very cool at it.
A comforter and a wool blanket at 76? Oh my goodness.
Well, your girl's coming
my
from
gosh.
Florida. Of course she's like, it's cold.
That's
You
like
know,
James, though. He always wants a comforter. Even if it's like 85 degrees, he wants like a thick comforter on. I'm like, I'm dying. This is not comfortable. I do not like being that hot, especially if I'm trying to sleep. Too hot.
Yeah. No. We have a very thin blanket. Yeah. Okay.
Ryan always wants, go. Are you ready?
No, yeah, tell me funny thing. I think I got the thing ready though.
Awesome. No, I was just like, I always want the window open, but he gets like, because I just like air at night, and I do like it. We both like it cooler at night, and like, so you can be all cuddly under your blanket. But now that it's spring, like the birds wake up at 4 a.m. and I just sleep through the birds until I'm ready to wake up. And then I'm like, oh, I get to wake up to the birds. And Ryan wakes up to the birds at 4:15 in the morning. It's like, oh, why is the window open? And I'm just like so happy asleep, and like, and he's not as happy as me. So,
well, it's still crazy that you guys, I mean, I understand because of where you live, but like air conditioning is one of my favorite inventions in the world. And the fact that you guys do not have it, I would die if we didn't have air conditioning here. Like
well,
we
but
lived
you
in a
would
house
die.
that only had central air, and it was like the worst thing ever. I was like, I'm never living in a house that does not have air conditioning ever again. Like, I'm so angry all the time because it's so hot.
Well, where
That's a
you
mood.
live, I would agree. In the summer, we would all die without AC. But here we can make it work because it's only like
Yeah.
1 or 2 weeks out of the year that it's really uncomfortably hot. The
Not
rest of the
here.
time,
It's
it's not bad.
it's necessary.
Actually, air conditioning is my official least favorite invention of all time because before the invention and affordability of air conditioning, nobody lived in Phoenix. And now people do. And if it weren't for air conditioning, I wouldn't be here. So, boo.
I was really wondering how you're gonna make that work. So I was about to be like, I don't know if we can be friends because the air conditioning.
More about Phoenix than the AC.
It's a trap. You heard your town has snow? Wait, what? Which town? Oh, snow in winter, but drive 10 minutes and you won't get it. It's pretty cool here because the lake is across the street. So now, Beba, you don't have to talk about this on stream, but like you're more north, or are you on an island? Like you're not quite by Brian and Kristen, right? Is that my like very vague understanding? Let me know. But first, we're going to watch this video. Should I tell you what it's titled? No, I won't tell you what it's titled. We are just going to watch it together. Hopefully the sound works. I'm trusting my husband did that for me because he's awesome. So if it doesn't work, I should have double checked myself. So sorry about that. All right, ready? Here we go.
The jewelry company Pandora created an experiment to test the bond between a mother and child. Could
Okay.
6 children, ages 3 to 9, pick their mom out from a group of women despite being unable to see their faces?
Twisting vines of time, you're in their grasp.
Oh, I've seen this one.
It's remarkable
this
to
one.
see how these young kids identify their mom with an instant connection. And not surprisingly, many of the mothers became overcome with emotion.
Breathing in gasps.
Each child uses their senses and intuition to properly pick out their mom in this heartwarming video, which was created to celebrate women. Be sure to tune in to Inside Edition.
Oh my goodness, that was adorable. That wasn't funny, but that was really cute.
It's actually, that's really funny. I was just telling James this the other day because Ellie is really good at hide and go seek. And she's been really good ever since she was like really, really little. And I swear she can just like smell me. And that's
Yep.
how she finds me. Because I will
Probably
like be in a
exactly.
closed door like away. And there's no way she can see me or hear me. And she will find me every time like instantly. I'm like,
Wow.
you must be able to like smell me or something. Because like there's no way you should be able to instantly find me. Like she won't go off into other places. Like she will go directly to wherever I am.
Aww.
So
Yeah,
I
that's
don't know if that's a
super
good
cute.
thing.
My kids cannot do that. We play hide and seek all the time. They can't find me.
Charlotte's not as good at it as her. For some reason, Ellie can just like instantly. Like Charlotte, she'll find me, but she's got to like hunt around, and Ellie's always just like a beeline to directly where I am. I'm like, how do you do this?
That's amazing.
Don't mind me just fighting with the internet as per usual.
Jake, what you doing?
Okay, sorry about that. It went from didn't want to work to definitely working. Oh golly. I don't know where this is going, but since we've been talking about potty training, I can guess. Thank you for wanting to send me your address. That's awesome. Yes, I would love to be able to send you some things. Okay. I did watch, Beba said that's like pets, they can find you quickly because of your smell. So this is funny to me because I watched a video the other day, you know, the like blanket challenge thing where you like hold a blanket up, you're talking to your dog and you kind of go peekaboo and then you throw the blanket up and you run off and you let the blanket drop. Have you guys seen those videos? And then the dog is like, wait a minute, where are you? Oh my goodness. And then they kind of go looking for you and it's cute and sad. Well, there was a version that I saw the other day, which is funny to me because like I don't really go like I don't watch a lot of I don't know, animal videos, so it's funny that this one came up. But so they're doing this and they throw a ball or whatever the dog might be interested in. And then they take the blanket and put it over themselves, the human. And so then the human is like under the blanket, laying down on the ground exactly where they were. And the dog comes back with a ball and is like, wait a second, where's my person? And there is like instances where dogs are like stepping over the blanket. Literally the person is there and the dog like just doesn't even know. So I would like to think that they could smell you and definitely find you. And then they do things like that. And I'm like, well, I guess we're all derps. I don't know. Golly. Although I have to say that there are times when I'm struggling with something in the Word, or you know, I come to a realization after reading the Word of God and taking time to pray, or coming through like an instance in my life. And when I come to this realization, I'm just like, this is so obvious. It's so clear right now. How did I struggle with it all this time over here? And I'm like bashing on myself, right? I'm like, oh, you know, I should know better. And like, I've been walking with the Lord for like X amount of years. And Jesus is just like, stop it. You see through a glass darkly. I don't expect you to get it all right now. I love you even though you're a derp. I love you even though I'm right there under the blanket, and you should definitely know this because you should recognize me. But you know, it's all right. Anyways.
Yeah, we're all sheep. Or for the dogs, we're all the golden retriever who's like, wait, what? You were just here.
Have you been in my YouTube comments? Some of us are chihuahuas, okay?
That's like James's golden retriever, not me.
Oh, you're not a chihuahua, Chelsea.
Yeah, I don't know what dog I am, but it's definitely not the golden retriever or the lab.
I feel like there's like some internet test for this. Like, what kind of dog are you? We should go find it at some point and
Like
take
corgi, 'cause I have little legs. So.
No, you're a border collie. You are a hard worker. Keep track of all the people. You're like, you're all my people.
Sure.
Oh my goodness.
I'm just hurting you all.
Yeah.
I identify as a German Shepherd. I like that for you, Beba, actually. Strong, resolute. Please pardon me saying this, but it's a compliment. Like, once you're trained something, you definitely know it and you're like proficient in it.
That was not our German Shepherd.
Oh no?
We had a weird one. Ours is not normal.
I feel like I'm probably a pug. Like really stubborn, but smart, kind of, sort of, but like very free-willed and will probably fall down the stairs. All right, shall we watch?
Oh, sorry.
Okay, so let us watch this wonderful, wonderful video that Ryan has found to share with all of us. I can tell already it's good. It's just going to be good. Get ready. I can see Tommy as a pug. Oh no. What have I done? Okay, here we go.
Jake, what you doing?
What are you doing, Jake? Oh no. Oh my goodness.
Is it coming out okay?
Yeah. I'm gonna feel much better.
Oh my goodness. At least they're not like at a restaurant, right?
Gold tooth. My dad has a gold tooth. My dad has diabetes. And small and important. I am beautiful. I am buffet. Mommy's fat.
Mouse.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, fat too. No.
Oh my goodness.
Hi, my mom's on a diet and
Oh, no.
she is losing weight. She was like fat as a pig. Now she's as skinny as a dog's butt.
You ready?
Oh my goodness. What?
The doctor's gonna help you don't want me to sing it?
That was my kids too.
Okay, let me try it again. Okay.
At a certain age.
The doctor's gonna help you. You don't want to hear me sing it?
No.
Oh my goodness. Oh, that was a no. Right to the mom.
No. Glow.
Like it is.
Oh, yeah.
What does it smell like?
I want some cheese. Hey, I will take
Like
it.
mommy's face. Hey.
Oh
throwing up.
That was
My
terrible.
daddy's a poo-poo, and he pees on himself. He's really gross.
Oh
You should
my
see him
goodness.
be naked.
Oh my goodness. What?
Keep that a secret.
Can Daddy sit
Oh
by
my
you?
goodness.
Oh,
What?
you big distance. Let's get away.
Oh, they're so cute.
What's
the
wrong? Why
babies.
can't Daddy sit by you? Watch your arm with the baby. Why can't Daddy sit by you? What's wrong? He smells like what? What does Daddy smell like?
Shoo, shoo.
Okay, Maddie, don't hit the baby.
Oh my goodness.
Get away.
What's the rest of that?
Oh my. That was smack.
Clap if you love Daddy. Clap.
Oh my goodness.
Oh, you even looked at your hands.
Clap if you love mommy.
Do it. Oh my goodness.
Oh my, not that big.
But you don't want a big butt.
But I do want a big butt.
Oh my
don't.
goodness.
Yes, I
You want a small butt.
do. No.
What?
I want a big butt, just like mommy. This will be a nice one now. Oh no, mommy.
Goodness. Savage.
My mom can make love better than any other mom.
From the heart. From the
Why are you crying?
I
Oh
don't
my
know
goodness.
because I don't like food. That's why. That's why I'm
You heard
crying.
it here. Children are confessing.
No, I don't like your food.
You don't?
Because it's grown up food.
It's what?
It's grown up food and I don't like
Oh.
Is Mama a good cook or a bad cook?
bad
Oh my
cook.
goodness. You set yourself up for that.
Ew, gross.
About time!
Oh, need that, man.
And you don't need cigarettes.
Oh my goodness. The sass is strong with this one.
What's
Oh
big?
my goodness.
What's big?
Mommy's butt.
Is it?
That's so mean.
Let me see. How big is it? Show me in your that big?
Oliver, what's on the balloon?
I love you.
Show Daddy. Can you show Daddy?
So uncomfortable.
What's it say?
I love you.
All right.
I love you.
No, I love you.
I love you.
No, I
I'm scared.
love Dad.
You love Daddy? What about mommy?
But he could love you both.
Sorry.
Sorry.
Do the mommy. How does mommy look like? Is that the mommy?
Oh, come on. It's not fair. Poor mama. She's carrying a baby.
Do the mommy.
Aww.
Oh, that's adorable. Okay, that was a lot. Not gonna lie.
Oh my goodness.
Kids have no filter. Very true. I will not be sharing my kids' little say the cutest things kind of moments on the interwebs. Nope, nope, nope. Hi, Seal. Welcome in. It's good to see you. How's your night been going? What's today? Is today Friday? Yeah. Do you have any plans this weekend? Let me fight with an internet window for a second.
Oh, it's like, do we have more? I was just
We
curious.
do.
Sounds like we do.
Don't autoplay. Don't autoplay. Oh, you autoplayed. Rude. Excuse me. That's wrong. Okie dokie. talk about something. I have to fix this.
Oh. Chelsea, do you have any specific plans for Mother's Day? Oh, are you frozen?
Oh no. Oh no.
Oh no. She might be. She might have frozen.
Yeah. I mean, to her credit, not that we can help this, but at least she froze in a beautiful position.
She did. She looks lovely. That's fair. Hannah, my kids, because Ryan streams, so if he's like streaming or on Discord, like basically if he's in here and they hear him, they'll be like, well, because that's how he always like says hi to people. And so you get like the little voices. Well.
That's amazing and I love it.
Yeah.
I fixed it. All right. Okie dokie, artichokes. Okay. Let's go a little rapid fire with these. All right.
I have to mute and listen.
I did not fix it. Everything's on properly. It's not working properly.
This is why I don't stream. Well, this isn't the reason I don't stream, but maybe one of the reasons. I can't do tech stuff.
Uh-oh. She'll be back in a second. Yeah, no, the tech stuff is sometimes frustrating, but usually, for at least on my end, it's user error. Hey!
We're back!
Switch to the phone.
I'm gonna try.
The mannequin challenge. She was winning the mannequin challenge. Let me tell you that right now.
Oh yeah.
Okay. I'm gonna do one more thing, and if this doesn't work, we are gonna abandon ship, and it's gonna be okay.
Sounds good. I think that's fair.
What about you, Kristen? Do you have super sweet, fun, awesome plans for Mother's Day? Do you have traditions? I feel like you have traditions for like everything, which is cool.
We are a very tradition-y family, but we do. I want a tradition for Mother's Day because then I feel like it takes the pressure off. But we do not have a Mother's Day tradition. I got together with my mom today. I brought lunch and like just created a nice space for us while my kids napped, and got to have a couple hours just hanging out with my mom. We just kept talking about just the gift of time, and just how nice it is to actually like have time to just be the two of us and be able to finish sentences without the kiddos around or doing 10 other things. And so that was really nice. And then I think we're going to have Ryan's mom over tomorrow to play games and have some fun special snacks. And then I gave Ryan parameters. He kept being like, what do you want to do? And half of me, like, real mom talk here, half of me's like, I want you to take the kids and to go away, and I want the day all to myself where I don't have any expectations on me. And there's but then the other half of me is like, no, I really want to like do something fun and like special with my kids and create a memory and like have. And so instead of planning anything, I just was like, I want to be able to sleep in. I do not want to cook or have to do dishes. And those were basically my parameters for the day. And so I think we're gonna, for like dinner, we'll grab teriyaki or Thai and go to a park and let the kids play and just sit and enjoy the sunshine is kind of my big plan. We'll see.
It's funny that you say that, Kristen, because I feel like, I don't know, can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Like we have the same struggle because, whenever it's like Mother's Day or Father's Day or whatever, it's like part of you wants to be like, okay, I just want to like do something for me. And then there's part of you that's like, but I also like want to hang out with my kids. And so like we've talked about this, but we haven't really like followed through with it, that like maybe we should do something where it's like, okay, like you spend the weekend, and whether it's like usually the events are on a Sunday. So it's like, okay, Saturday, mom or dad gets to like do something by themselves on that day to celebrate, and then on the actual day itself, like you do an activity together on the actual day. But for us, like that never works because we have to see like our moms too, and our families don't live in the same town, and there's, you know, a drive. So usually you do one mom on one day and one mom on the other day. So then it's like, well, you know, there's not really a day to do something you might want to do. But in the future, we may try that.
Yeah, I like that concept of like, because I do think parenting, I mean, as I think all parents can attest, it's tiring, and it takes, if we, you know, like we want to put our all into it. And so we want to be there, and we want to be present, and we want to be participating, you know, whether they're little and that means running around with them, or they're older and that means staying up late to have the awesome conversation that you're going to get at 2 a.m. that you won't get at 2 p.m. You know, like there's just tiring things about being a parent. And so you do want to take that time to say, oh, I just need a moment to like to rest. And I think that that's so good, and it's so biblical. But then, you know, you also just feel that like tug and that pull always of like, oh, but I'm missing this moment with my kids. And like, how do we do both, and how do we do it well? I feel like when you look at Jesus, right, he like was like fully in with his disciples, and like, let's have dinner, and I'm sitting and we're talking, and then he's like, all right, I'm gonna go like spend time by myself and pray. And he needed that like alone time too, and he was very good at like setting boundaries for himself with his disciples, which I know are not children, but in some ways we all need a little bit better probably of setting that time aside.
In some ways, yeah. I mean, and I think it all comes back to like intentionality, like you were saying too. Like we've just kind of been talking about a bit today.
Oh my goodness, that would freak me out, Hannah.
So, I didn't realize. So my kids are at a birthday party. That's where Nate is too, and I didn't realize that one of my kids did not go, and she came in just now and told me that we might get to see like some aurora borealis even all the way down here. So have you guys been seeing any, or have you been on the lookout for any? Because you're far more north than I. Hi Thumper, welcome in, good to see you.
I was actually just gonna look that up. I heard, so it's like a solar flare, right?
Mm-hmm.
I haven't been looking for it. I just heard about it today. I was gonna look up like when, if it was like you could see it at 9 p.m. because any later you probably won't see me.
I have actually seen the north when I visited my brother in Alaska.
Well, that's cool.
That is super cool.
Oh, what time, baby? What time can you see it? I'll just ask you instead of
She's brand new and she already knows. She's like, look at all these things I know about this state.
I know, she's killing it.
Aurora, you say? Might go out and look. There's a lot of light pollution in my area, so I'm not expecting much. That's a good point. That's one of the things that is not great about living in a big city. Definitely a lot of light pollution. But the Waffle House does not have that, which is amazing.
Yeah, a little bit, but not as much. I bet. I love just going out. Ryan and I, like, we would go out and like we went to college in a city and in Seattle. And so like when we were dating, we'd always go on walks at night as like study breaks. And you like couldn't see the stars at all. But then our parents lived, so when we would go home for the summer, our parents lived in a suburb that was like 40 minutes away from the city. And it'd always be like, finally we get to see the stars again. It was like the best. And so even now it's like we'll go on walks at night. We're like, the stars, this is the best.
Yeah, that's how I feel when I go home too. because my hometown's obviously really small and my parents don't live by a lot of people, so you can see a lot of stars. And my best friend, she lived like even farther away in the middle of nowhere on a lot of land, and it was like the whole universe was in her backyard, and it was always super duper cool. But not a lot of stars where we live now.
Wow, that's just crazy. Kind of like the fact that the background is not working right now, which is also crazy. I've been looking at some really cool houses in Illinois, although I have to be honest, I cannot move there. Nope, 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 nope. But, you know, if you guys are looking for a really cool Second Empire Italiente or an Italiente or a Queen Anne, you know, they're in Illinois.
Ooh, well, that's cool, Yobi. Do you think we're gonna be able to get it to go, Tommy, or should we call it?
Oh, I was gonna, I'm trying actually to just transition back over to a regular talking screen, but the background is not working with OBS because why would it? Even though it was totally working literally all day as we were setting it up. So I'm just trying to quietly reload it and hope no one noticed, but that's okay.
Sorry to like call it out.
Not a problem. It wouldn't be a stream unless there were issues, right? So we're moms, we can handle it.
Oh yeah.
Who would want to live in Illinois? I don't know, Seal. I don't know. Don't get me started.
As a Missourian, I second that.
Yo, weren't you just inviting everyone to Chicago? Wasn't that you?
You managed to escape about 3 years ago and have never looked back. Good for you. I'm super glad. Where did you go to, if you don't mind me asking? Which you totally don't have to answer because you're on the internet. But tech issues do make the stream. They do. Like, let me just get on my level for a second, okay? Here you go. Wait, what? Are you serious right now? Amazing. This is not what was on my level a second ago. So this is encouraging. Hang on. See, my slight frustration, my like mocking frustration may have actually saved us. I'm so good at this game. Look at us. Crispy. First try.
Oh yeah. There's no disaster here. We're all just in that hopeful.
To be completely transparent, this did not show up in OBS. I clicked transition and then it showed up over here on the actual broadcasting screen. So there's no reason for this to be working right now because my studio mode is telling me this is not what you should be seeing. And yet here we are. So make it make sense.
Love it.
Anyways, okay. Kristen, I'm gonna put you on the spot. Haha, just kidding. But no, really, I am. How about you start us off on our wonderful intentional discussion today? I just feel like you said it so well when we were kind of throwing thoughts around, and you really have just such a way with words and a clear way to set the scene and to prep our hearts for, you know, all things gospel motherhood. Specifically, of course, parenthood is incredibly important and not to be diminished. And I won't sit here and say, you know, it's not real parenthood if you're not doing parenting together. Of course, that's not at all what this discussion is about, but rather just the joy and pressures and experience of a gospel-centered woman who has the privilege of being a parent and also a child who's still called on by the Lord to honor our parents and understand what that means as we walk out our day by day, whatever that looks like.
Yeah, I'm not, you know, I feel like when we were prepping for the stream, there was like so many things that just feel awesome and important, and you know, things we want to say and things we want to talk about that feel like they have weight and meaning and value, and so it's kind of hard to be like, all right, where do we jump in? But I do think that, the more we talked and the more we, discussed things, I think for me, what keeps coming out of this week as I'm laying motherhood before the Lord. Sorry, I got distracted because my internet is doing something funky. Is your guys' internet still doing fine?
I think mine is fine, but that's something that my kid was saying was that could be a problem from the solar flare.
Yeah. No, I think it was me. I'm back.
Welcome.
But yeah, so I was just keep walking away, spending time with the Lord, just feeling more and more pressed towards the freedom that we have in Christ, not only as moms, but as daughters. And we were talking about how as moms, we want to do everything for our children. We want to keep them safe. We want them to grow up with character. We want them to grow up. I want my kids to grow up in the Lord and to know who he is and to have a real relationship with him and to see that mirrored in me and in Ryan. And I want them to know what it means to serve the Lord in the church and serve the Lord with those around them and to have eyes to see that. And I want them to be able to do chores and to pick up their rooms and to go potty on the real potty. And I want them, to do all these things. And I'm constantly in this state of like, how do I instill all these practical and spiritual and emotional things in my child? And when I just start spinning in that space, I was kind of talking to Chelsea about it earlier. I start to get anxiety and I start to plan too far ahead. And I was telling her that the verse like 2 days ago came to me of, that's like, don't worry about tomorrow. Tomorrow has enough, but tomorrow, will take care of itself. But think about today. Today has enough in it already, right? And obviously that's a huge paraphrase, but the concept of taking a breath and living in freedom of in Christ of not only do I am I not going to be able to fulfill everything for my children, and I can't make their life perfect, and I can't keep them safe, and I can't keep them from that harsh word that someone's going to say to them. They're going, all these things. But the reality is that I shouldn't, because if I was everything to and for my children, they would have no need for a savior. And the best thing I can do for my children is to walk with them through the good and through the bad, not let them be abandoned, and always point them back to Christ in it and say, he is faithful. He will never fail you. He is the one who, like you said earlier, Tommy, created you with value, not because of any of these external things, but because he created you in his image on purpose, with purpose. And so I just feel like that concept of I cannot and should not be everything, and I can parent and mom in freedom and in rest and in peace, knowing that where I fail, Christ will be strong, and that's where he comes and meets our children and actually makes their faith theirs and not mine. And I feel like I've just been reminded of that a lot lately. And so just really thankful for that reality, that it's not all on me, that I can't do it. Yeah, because I'm going to fail and I'm not going to do it well. Hi, Ace. Sorry.
Well, and I think that the more that we try to be everything for our children and try to be perfect, the less they'll see the need for a savior.
Yeah.
And, I've seen even well-intended families where this plays out, and even into adulthood still plays out. And so, I said sorry to my kids a lot while they were growing up, which is actively happening still. And in doing so, I try to be humble, not like unnaturally bringing myself low, right? But just expressing the reality of I am insufficient. I have shortcomings. my bad action towards you, or me raising my voice or losing patience or not addressing that properly, like that's my lacking. And you have a sense of justice right now. Like you wanted that to go better. You expected that it would turn out in a good way or in a nice way or, what have you. And I explain that innate built-in sense of justice is evidence of the reality of God, whom there is no shifting shadows in, who cannot lie. Not that I'm a liar, right? But that's what the scripture says. Who is the source of all good and is in fact the definition of good, who is love, who is the author and perfecter of our faith, right? Got double Chelsea, which is not a bad thing, but Kristen called it something's going on with your internet. So, she said she would just be right back. Cool. But I think the point that I was making there is just like trying to always explain, I'm sorry for the way that I messed up, but I'm not Jesus. You are wanting and hoping for Jesus. And you can, like, people will always let you down. Even your mom. I'm so sorry, but Jesus never will. So I think that's always been my biggest heart's desire and struggle, is just like, you want to be a representation of Christ, but I think part of that also, I mean, it has to be, because otherwise I'm doomed, has to be the ability to acknowledge to my children, like, I'm not Jesus, and it is good that you want him. Like, I'm not always the best example of that. Like, look to the scriptures, not just your mom's behavior. So, like, it doesn't remove the accountability. God still calls me to act a certain way and holds me accountable for whether or not I teach my children about him. But why are we talking about bingo? Double bingo? Oh, for the Bluey fans? Yeah, I'm so sorry. I'm like, you guys, do you want to see what a terrible husband I have? He texted me, he's like, how's the stream going? I'm like, terrible, something's wrong. And I said, on top of that, I'm hungry. So he goes, behold, my pizza, which is very rude. Ladies and gentlemen. Hello. Welcome back.
Yeah.
No,
sorry.
it's fun.
With too much water.
Never enough.
All right. Sorry. Where were we?
I was just talking about the reality of, like, we can't be perfect and we shouldn't try to be. And even in our shortcomings, I think it's an opportunity to point our kids to Jesus and just say, like, yeah, you're expecting something great and something awesome, because that's what Jesus is, not me.
Yobi, thanks for sharing. Sorry, just reading.
Yeah, me too. I think that's so beautiful, if you don't mind me saying. I also lost my mom 5 years ago, and my story is very different than yours. We were not culturally Christian, and she didn't build into us that kind of heritage. And we didn't have a great relationship, so the loss kind of translates differently. But, I think even if your relationship is incredibly healthy or has, things in it that you wish could have been different, the love is the same, and the desire to love one another and to see the good things that they did do and recognize, as we were just talking about, their humanity, and the way that, like, we can't expect our parent to be Jesus, and that only Jesus is sufficient to really complete us. And, like, our parents and our village or whomever else gets to pour into our life, like, they're a beautiful blessing and even more evidence of God's care and love for us. But yeah, I mean, there are days where I'm like, I'm okay. And then there are days where I'm like, this really stinks. And so I completely understand. And okay, full disclosure, I'm just going to say it. I was doing some things to prep for stream last night, and I bought my mother-in-law a Mother's Day card, and all of a sudden, I just started crying. And I was like, whoa. You know, I mean, I'm a crier for sure, but I'm not like an all the time crier. You know what I'm saying? Like some ladies, like they just cry really easily, and I admire them. Like I'm not that lady. Like anyway, and it's something that is very human about us, that we really need to, you know, lay bare before the Lord and let Him heal and let us work through. And often, as you so well are getting to do, like I'm just saying, even to me here, our pain, our struggles, the things we really go through, they make us more capable of ministering to others sometimes. Just sometimes being able to hear from someone else's mouth, I understand that particular loss or season or experience. So thank you for sharing. Really appreciate it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sorry for your loss, and, you know, just big, huge hug.
Yeah. I think one thing that like God instills in a lot of women is the ability to kind of like draw others in. And I think of the verse that like asks us as brothers and sisters in Christ to like mourn with those who mourn and rejoice with those who rejoice, right? And that I just feel like in those moments when we do that well as brothers and sisters, and like it just, I don't know, I'm trying to like word what I'm trying to say, but it just allows us to really, no one has to be alone. Like, you know, your mom passed, but you know, it gives us the opportunity to step in and to walk alongside each other in a real way. And you know, shared experiences, the fact you're willing to share. And then Tommy, you know, you're able to share that you have a similar journey as well. You guys can commiserate and care for one another and support one another. And I just think that that is a gift from God that we don't always recognize, that like these things that are really hard. Oh, I have a little child who is naked. I'm gonna go off screen for a second, sorry.
Whoopsie doodle. Hey, fortunately the light saved you. I didn't see anything. But we get 2 Chelseas again, which is cool.
We'll get a Chelsea with the camera that's not frozen. Woo. Oh, but a mic that doesn't work? Can you hear me?
I can hear you, yes.
Okay. Weird. I can't hear.
Oh, Hannah, I am so sorry to hear about your grandma. But you see that like really bright spot of light? I think it was like saving the day.
Yeah, well, that's why I had to like turn around, because I was like, "Ooh, I feel like he's naked." So I like checked, and then I was like, "Oh, okay, off screen."
I just feel my mom sense is going off. There's a naked person.
Yeah, I'm like, uh-oh. Because I couldn't tell either, but yeah.
That was amazing. So I think an underlying theme that, you know, we're kind of talking about but not talking about is like what God does with community, what God does with fellowship, right? God established 2 authority systems in the Bible, and the first was the family. I mean, like, I'm not talking about like authority under God I am, right? But I mean like authority systems for mankind to operate under, right? And the second was the church. And when I think about the family, there are so many things, there are so many relational things that need to work out well to be able to impart tradition, good examples. And when I say good examples, I mean specifically biblical truths, even if they're not culturally in vogue. the strength of character to be able to clearly say what is right and wrong, and also the grace to be able to discuss it with wisdom and gentleness and respectfulness. Like, these are all things that God impresses on us as he teaches us about his character. But then there are also things that he calls on us as biblical parents to impress on our children. And I think that to have a wise relationship with your child, to have a wise connection with your child, makes you able to accomplish that last goal. I was lamenting to my husband the other day and just sort of saying, like, I'm having a difficulty with, like, just communicating this one thing to this one child right now. And I was a little frustrated, and I said, like, so you just need to talk to that person. And then I said, no, I need you to pray for me that I would improve in my ability to communicate this one thing to that one person. Because, like, I kind of felt like that a little bit in my teen years, especially. Like, my parents reached this point where, because they didn't know the Lord, so they reached this point where they were like, fine, if you're going to be like that, or whatever. And at the time I was like, this is just how it is. But now that I am a parent, and now that I'm a biblically based parent, I read the word, and I don't see God doing that, right? I'm not saying there aren't instances where the scripture says, and then I gave them over to the things they were insisting on doing, even though they knew better, right? There are instances of that, but that's not the same thing as you're parenting a child, right? A wise parent speaks their child's language. And I'm not saying, like, you know, that there's no authority or that it's all gentle parenting, like with all, like, you know, I'm going to leave lots of space for your feelings, but not talk about the consequences of your actions. That's not what I'm talking about. I don't think that's biblical. But what I'm saying is, like, being able to communicate these things to your children, God holds us accountable for. So, like, literally, God has been teaching me over and over and over again through my parenting, like, you're not allowed to just throw up your hands and say that kid's difficult, I guess they're unteachable. Like, it's your job to find the way to teach that child that thing, whatever it is. Your stream wants you to go to bed. I'm sorry.
Yes.
Yeah, you're not frozen on Discord this time, though, so I think we could still hear you.
I can't hear me, though.
Oh, no.
Oh, really?
I know, it's weird. I'm, I guess, having just a lot of technical issues. That's why earlier I was like, can you hear me? Because I can't hear it at all. So, but... all good.
I'm sorry. See if anything I can do over
Why
here
trust
improves
others
this.
with your kids? Like, in terms of, in what way, boxing elephant?
That did not fix it.
Like, daycare, school, VBS.
VBS. I will share that was part of my conviction with wanting to homeschool. Conviction, selfishness, I don't know. But part of it was like, you know, we were just cresting 4 years old. And so we had 3 kids at that point. And I was like, am I really? Because the option was on the table for me to either go back to work or, you know, consider, like, continuing college. And I had this moment where I had to reconcile with the Lord for me and my life. Am I really going to take all the time that I have poured into these little ones, whom I've made my entire life and existence right now, as, you know, we do as moms, right? Like, your life is your kid and no apologies, you love it, right? And am I going to now hand this little one over to somebody else for the best hours of their day and the best hours of my day? And then, like, we get the hurried, scrambly moments at the beginning of the day and, like, the tired leftovers at the end of the day. And this is where I mean, like, for your individual character, constitution, life setup, you know, disposition, all of that. Like, these are the things that you need to, like, lay bare before God. Because as I was talking to God about these things, I was like, well, no, I didn't get this far just to be like, here you go, someone else, take the best of my kid, I'll handle the discipline. I mean, that's really silly. It's not, of course, that. But in my brain, I was like, I don't think I want that. Is there another way?
Yeah, I think that there's like so many it's something that like I feel like I've wrestled with a ton recently. And I've talked to just so many awesome godly people who are seeking the Lord with all of their heart, you know, and desire to be obedient to what he's calling for their family. And I'm not sure there is a one size fits all perfect answer, because there are so many people who genuinely lay this before the Lord and seek him and come up with a different answer of what they genuinely believe God is calling them to. Not like, I want this, and so I'm gonna like pray and like make God's voice fit what I want. You know, I think there are people who and I'm with you, Tommy. That's one of the huge reasons why I do wrestle with it, is like, these are the years that we get to disciple our children, and we are called to that. That is not like a hey, if you have time with all these other things that I've asked you to do, like try to fit in raising up your children in the way they should go so that you don't depart from it. You know, it's like, that's a commandment given to parents. We are supposed to raise and disciple and step into these big things with our children. And at the same time, though, there are like, you know, there's cultural life things of, we have to live as a family, and there are times that we have to step into work, and we make the best choice possible, and we prayerfully lay our children's hearts during these times like into who we really hope are trustworthy people. And if our kids do go to school, my kids personally go to a private school, and so I do feel like there is at least one level of safety there, of I know that the basis of what they are teaching is all gospel centered. But the reality is that whether they are gone or whether they are home, our responsibility as parents is to still disciple, to still step in, to still create that space, and to not just say it is someone else's job to, you know, teach my children about the Lord. I send them to church on Sunday. I send them to a Christian school. So they're covered. They're going to, you know, that's their job. And I just get to play and have fun and put them to bed and, you know, take them to sports and rah. Like, no, they like, you know, it's still my job, regardless of whether they're home with me all day or they're somewhere else. And then to your other piece that you said of TV, I will say I personally am super cautious with all things media with my children. I have very small, and I am that really weird parent who my 7-year-old does not, you know, like compared to his friends, like they do not watch anywhere near, like we still watch Daniel Tiger in my household. We, you know, like we are, we screen everything before our kids watch it. It's super limited of the amount of time that they get to, because to your point, you are so influenced by those things, and I want my voice and the voice of God to be so much louder and so much bigger than the voice of this world. And media is just like so easy to get sucked into, of that's the truth. And yeah, and actually Tommy did something that like I've brought into my family, which has just been awesome, is I think you called it being a truth finder.
Like a lie detector.
Yeah, so like my kids now, if they're watching a show, like we let them watch what was the one, Wildcrats, and it's about, you know, animals, but they'll bring in certain things, and so sometimes there's some like, you know, just some things that like aren't true that they'll pass off as like a truth. And so Tommy was like, hey, you can teach them to call those things out. And it's just been awesome, because then my oldest especially, he'll be like, hey, that's not true. You know, and it's just very cute. And they're actively watching, they're thinking about it. And that's how we should be going about our days too. You know, it's like, whether it's in church or whether it's in whatever show we're watching, we should be calling out, hey, that's true and that's not, because of the Bible, not my feelings.
Yeah, I praise
Yeah,
God. I think.
mean,
Oh, go ahead.
oh, I was just gonna say, like with the homeschooling kind of discussion, like it's definitely crossed my mind lately, but more so in the sense of like another Christian friend of mine. We kind of have similar thoughts of she works like part-time. Obviously, I work full-time. So I get such a limited amount of time with my children. We do send our daughter to a private Christian school, and I love her school. It's an amazing school.
That's awesome.
I have no doubt that she's learned so much about Jesus there and happily does it when anybody but me tells her about it. So there are a lot of aspects that I'm like, it's great that it's coming from somebody else, because sometimes I feel like she listens to other people better. But I mean, there definitely are times that I'm like, if we had a homeschool set up, or if there could be like a happy middle ground, it would be great to just get more time with them, not only just to spend time with them, but to your point, to be able to like raise them up in the way that we want to. Because it definitely is challenging whenever you have such small windows to do that. And it is a big job to do, which is why I think, if you're gonna do school, like, you just have to find what is important to you, because we do sacrifice a lot to send her to such a good school that, you know, is very solid. And, we do check in with each other, and that is something that, we had a discussion about recently, because, it's going to be harder and harder as we continue to grow our family to sustain that, and, just ensuring that, like, that's still what makes sense for our family, and, that we're still on board with making other sacrifices necessary in order to give them that education, because there is, a big part of me too, like, I'm sure, Tommy, for you, is very different when your kids were younger, because I feel like there's so many more resources, especially post-COVID now, and like homeschooling became a lot more popular, and I think it's a lot more almost necessary sometimes at this point if you can't do a private or, like a Christian route, just to kind of avoid a lot of the things that are happening in the public schools. Which I went to public school, but I went to public school
public
quite a while
school
ago,
when
so
we
I feel
went
like it
to
was different.
school is so different than it is now, for sure.
Yeah, but there's definitely like
can't
a
even
large
compare.
part of me too that it's like you just don't feel equipped to be able to like teach your children, which was a huge thing for me initially whenever we like started sending our daughter to school where she is. And I mean, there's still a big part of me that feels that way if we were ever to like switch routes, that like I don't know that I would really feel like equipped, because she's very bright and I don't want to like not keep her on a good trajectory because I am not capable. But it's definitely one of those things that we're continuing to think about and pray about. But I always have to be the other side of the coin. Like, if you are really intentional about it and it's what makes sense for your family, then that's okay too, as long as you're doing things that like make sense and you're still pouring into them in those other areas, not just giving them to society to raise them, however, because sometimes a good school is the best choice for your family.
Yeah, I think there's just so much wisdom in what you said there, of course, and like obviously I completely agree with you. Another reality, though, is when my kids were little, like, we were poor and happy, but like we were poor, right? And so private school was not an option at all. Like, I couldn't even walk past a private school. I'm just kidding. But like, so my options were figure out how to homeschool or send my kiddo to public school. And, I think that it is true that outside influences, whether you homeschool or not, will always be something that as a parent you have to be vigilant about. You have to be, you guys keep saying this word and I think it's perfect, intentional about, right? I know you've heard me share this verse before, this series of verses before, but I'm gonna do it again because I just feel like this is the right moment for it. Deuteronomy 6:4-7 is like a really popular kind of homeschooling verse. And like, I'll just go ahead and say this out loud. Some people use it to say, like, they use these verses to say, if you aren't homeschooling, that it's like the equivalent of child abuse in today's society to like send your Christian kid out there, blah, 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 blah. And I think that's really harsh. And like, like, I will never say that, because I think what's most important in scripture is that we are obedient to the Lord. So what the Lord is putting before you and the path he's asking you to walk, you need to decide, am I going to yield to your plan, God? You know, and so like that's my metric that I think is scriptural. But all of that aside, these verses are just amazing. So it's twofold in my opinion. And if I seem a little soapboxy for a second, which I know you guys have come to expect from me, and I'm really sorry, and I hope it's endearing, it is actually that I just made a video, probably like the first of 3, I'm thinking, just because I feel like I have a few things to say on this particular topic. But I made a video about like navigating intentionality with like what our kids are exposed to, and how can we address that biblically, and what are some of the mindsets that might help us move forward, or like consider what our kids have as options. Like, thank you so much for giving me that little moment, Kristen, when you're saying, oh, I taught my kids to be lie detectors because I heard you say that. Thank you. That's so sweet of you. But like, yes, it is those little things. Something came up the other day, and my kiddo, we were going to watch a thing as a family, and I said very plainly, we're going to watch it. It may have some questionable things, so we might stop and talk about it. And one of my other kids was like, I don't want to do that. I just want to watch it all the way through. And I said, no, this is what we do as a family. We address things. We talk about them like in the moment. We learn. And it helps to shape our worldview. And so it's important. But the verses I wanted to share were Deuteronomy 6:4-7. And I think the first part is for parents. Hear, Israel, the Lord is our God, the Lord is one, and you shall love the Lord your God with all your heart and with all your soul and with all your strength. These words which I am commanding you today shall be on your heart. Okay, I think those are absolutely like 100% just for parents. Like, this is the mindset you need to have. So I've always took this as God saying, like, you, parent, need to be diligently seeking me. You, parent, need to be, biblically aware and informed and knowledgeable and ready to be an example, a living example of what the Christian life is. You know, you can say Christianese to someone all day long, but if you're not living it, right, how is that really impactful? And again, going back to, of course, there's room for grace, and you're a human and you're going to mess up and you're not Jesus, but you can still have, as you ladies are so well saying, that intentionality. So the next verse just really accentuates it and says, and you shall repeat them diligently to your sons and speak of them when you sit in your house, when you walk on the road, when you lie down, and when you get up. And so it's like, I just always took this to mean every time you have opportunity to demonstrate the reality of Christ in your life, you are responsible to share that with your children, to demonstrate following Christ with the time you have. And so whatever that time is, if you just like take a nonchalant attitude, I don't think that's obedience. So I don't think like not schooling your child at home is disobedience. I think not using your time as best you can with intentionality is the not obedience.
Yeah, I was actually just talking to my mom today about this. When God is a compartment within our lives, like I get up and I spend some time reading my Bible in the morning, and that's like my time with God, and that's it. You know, it's like it's like, and I go to church on Sunday, you know, so you're like, I'm doing the right Christian things. It's not like I started wrong. I'll reverse for a second. I want to start with like the other side of like how we're called to immerse ourselves in Christ. If Christ is compartmentalized in our life versus is our whole life, we will naturally have these conversations, because not only is Christ on Sundays and in my Bible time, he's in everything, and he's the lens in which I do everything. He's the lens in which I make food for my family every day and clean the dishes, and Chelsea, the lens in which you go to work and serve your family in that way. And so it won't even, those intentional conversations, Tommy, it does take intentionality. But when Christ is our whole life, not just a part of it, but the whole thing, then naturally the words that come out are his, because that's how we're approaching life, because we are so immersed in who he has created us to be, and how we are desiring to move closer to him, that it is out of an overflow of that from our hearts that we are able to have these conversations too. You know, you can make a lesson in, hey, you need to get your shoes on, to be like, hey, everything that you do needs to be done for the Lord and done with diligence. And that's how he asks us to be. And so when we do these things, we're actually honoring him in how we XYZ, right? Or, you know, and like I say it to my children, but I say it to me too, you know, like I get grumbly over those dishes after the kids go to bed. That is my time. No one else should impede on that, especially chores. And yet, when I'm doing it with the lens of, I have a beautiful family that I get to serve, and I get to, you know, like put on worship music and have this time be a time that is worshipful and joyful and reflecting the gratitude that I have for what God has given me, these beautiful, perfect gifts, then it is honoring to him. And it is, you know, and so it totally is intentional. But it's also, if we are immersing ourselves in Christ, they're also going to naturally come up, because that's who we're, that's who we're spending time with. That's how we are living our lives. And I think that's also the desire is, I don't, my desire isn't to make Jesus that 10 minutes in the morning that I give him, but to give him all of me all the time.
Well, and I think, like, with what you're saying, like, the thing there too, like, I like your little thing there, lead in love, like, that's been something that's been just, like, I feel like more and more apparent to me as I parent longer, is that, it's just really about, like, the example that you're providing and the way you are leading your children, and leading them in love is so important. Because if you're not leading them in love, if you're not showing them unconditional love, if you're not trying to display all of these different things for them, then it's just all the more difficult for them to, like, see that and believe that, and to, like, understand, the character of God, really. And I think there's, like, to your point, like, 10 minutes a day isn't your goal, and you don't just stop at 10 minutes a day, but it doesn't mean that, you're reading your Bible all day. Like, there's so many other ways that you could be doing that, whether that's, by having the right attitude, the grateful heart, or playing the worship music, or, having your family Bible study time. It's like, there's so many different ways, like, throughout your day that you can incorporate those things, and that you can display those things without it having to maybe look like what some people might think. Like, a lot of people too, even before I started really, like, listening to, like, mostly just, like, worship music, I didn't realize, like, there could be so much good worship music, so it's like, there's a lot of ways you can kind of, not sneakily, but there's so many different ways that you can influence with different things throughout the day, that don't have to strictly just be like, okay, we're just gonna read from the Bible and hope that you're into this and it sinks in. Like, you can do it through, like, your music, having that Bible time, just showing the example of that, your attitude, like, the way you respond to people. Like, there's just so many ways that you can be reflecting all of those things, in addition to, like, actually having those conversations. Like, there's a lot of subtlety in just how you're conducting yourself and how you're leading them by your own example.
That's so good. Like, I just think of that quote that I love, that I always mess up anyways, but it's St. Francis of Assisi. It says, share the gospel often, use words when necessary, something to that effect.
Yeah. Yeah, I think go, Keith, you're still going, Tommy, sorry.
No, you go. That was a headache gum.
To that point, I remember this story from a book I read, where John Wesley's mom, she had, like, they were just tons of children, and she would, like, if she needed to talk to God, she just would take her apron and she would just, like, throw it over her head, and she would be, like, in the middle of the chaos. She wouldn't leave and go, but she just is like, me and God, we need a moment, and she would just like throw it over her head, and all the kids would know, like, she's praying, she's talking to God, like, I'll go ask her for a snack in just a second, like, but I just, that concept, Chelsea, I love it, of, like, it needs to be real for us, because if it's not real for us, then it's not going to be real for our children. And I saw a quote lately that super convicted me that said,
said hi.
Hello.
Sorry.
Yeah, sorry. I just heard a whisper and I was like, "Ooh, what is it?"
It's trying to be non-distracting. completely messed that up. My bad.
But it was but the concept of this quote, which was super convicting, was like, if we're not willing to spend, time, like 10 minutes here today or however long, right? Like with God, how do we expect ourselves to want to is it really true that we want to spend eternity with our Savior if we're not giving him that time here? And so that concept of, the whole point of loving, our Savior and being, spending time here with Jesus, is that we are saying, like, we see your glory, we see your majesty, we see who you are, and we want to worship you for eternity and reflect that, right? And so but if I don't really believe that, and if I don't really do that, then am I really saying, I just want like a little piece of you that's going to make me a better person today, but like when I get to heaven, like then I'll get to know you? Or like, or will I already have that relationship and that real connection that we desire for our children, and to have them walk in as well.
Yeah, I was thinking so much about Proverbs 22:6. I mean, I think about it often, really. My children have been my life for the last 19 years. It has been my husband, or it has been Jesus, my husband, and my children, and that's been my life. And I've been grateful to get to come online and form community and get to connect with other people. But I mean, prior to this, like, I had a little greenhouse and that was it. And by greenhouse, I mean like my family and my world was like it. And I think that was good for us. That was what we needed. But when I think of Proverbs 22:6, like that was my prayer. Like, I mean, my very selfish prayer was, Jesus, if none of them could backslide, that'd be awesome. If they could all just be like, boom, I'm sold out for Jesus.
Oh yeah.
And Jesus was like, so you think you just rolled a D20 here or what? Like you just went to easy mode? I'm like, okay, fine. Because there is a verse that I love, and I feel has been what I've lived out in my life, not by me, just to be clear, but like Jesus is like telling this part of my story from his perspective. Like Jesus, the narrator, says this, and I'm like, oh yeah, you're right, that did happen. Anyways, but the verse is that women will be sanctified by child rearing. And there's more context for that, of course, but it's like, when you pause over the word sanctified and child rearing, it's not just like you're sanctified by the process of bringing a child into the world at all, but you're a tool. One possible tool of your sanctification is being involved in raising someone younger than you. And there's a case to be made for also, we're sanctified through discipleship and through mentoring others when they're not part of our family. But like, you really care when it's your own kid or your niece or nephew, right? Like, you are like, I got to get this right. I want to show you Jesus. I don't want you to have the hardships and struggles that I knew. Whatever it is, whatever your motivation, it's like, you lean more into God because you want to equip this little one. And that's the same kind of love that he has for us. So I love that. But when I think of Proverbs 22:6, my kids, they're teenagers, and I've always encouraged free thinking. I've always encouraged rational thinking, because we are rational beings. And actually, I talk about this a lot, but there are real studies right now that are proving that most, and this is sad, but most millennial and Gen Z, who I'm not trying to bash at all, struggle with various points of their own actual identity, and they struggle, and I don't mean like identity politics, that's not what I'm talking about. What I'm talking about is this next part. And they struggle with truly understanding what they actually think. Okay, so follow me for a second. We have, as a lot of our own personal philosophies, basically, I'll use like a basic word for it, like a copy and paste mentality. I pick and choose from what I see and what I like and what I want to apply to my life, but I don't always think critically about it. I choose what's easy, what's comfortable, what's known, right? Like, have you ever heard of like, oh, you know, I'm a cultural Catholic, or like, oh, you know, my whole family's Catholic, so I'm Catholic. And I'm not bashing Catholics, right? I'm just saying that's an example that I hear often. Why are you Catholic? Because my family's Catholic. Okay, that's why. That's enough of a reason for you. That's your reason. But it's called syncretism. And syncretism is like the exact opposite of actually loving the Lord your God with all your heart, soul, mind, and strength. Because if you philosophically agree with the gospel, like if it comes into your mind, one of you said it so well, you said if that's the lens through which you see all of life, then that's a biblical worldview. And that's what we're supposed to train up our children in, by whatever means necessary, in whatever circumstances we have. So some of my older teens, they're like, you know, I don't really love worship. Like I do, but I don't. Like worship music just going on all the time for, you know, because they're like, but the Beatles exist, right? They're like, sometimes I want something that's, yeah, secular, but kind of fun. I'm like, I mean, the Beatles aren't like evil. Like, you know what I mean? It's just music. Some of it's bad. We can talk about it, whatever. But, so I'm not saying it clears the room if I put on worship, but sometimes they're like, okay, well, I'm going to go do school over here because I kind of wanted my other music, and no offense and whatever, it's fine. So I kind of stopped playing worship music like all the time, like by default. And I'm a terrible singer. I am. It's okay. I'm not looking for compliments. I already know this. But that never stopped me from singing, especially to my poor children. So that's what Jesus really needs to redeem in their lives. Like that will be their therapy bills later. Just kidding. But I was doing something, and I was around the kids, and going through a little bit of like a mental struggle myself, and I started singing one of my favorite worship songs, which was really quiet about it, you know. So it's just like, draw me close to you, and I was kind of like, and from the other room I hear the kid who's like, I don't really like worship music all the time, go, never let me go, you know. And this culture that we establish, right, it impresses on them, kind of whether they want to or not. And all of a sudden, from another room, we've got another kid coming in with the refrain. And then from like kind of around the house, my children start to converge on the kitchen, and they're singing this song. And I mean, we do it with VeggieTales too, so like it's not always just this sweet, beautiful, like angelic moment, but it was just this moment of like, I'm sure I've messed up a whole lot, but for them to just know in their hearts these biblical truths, I think that's the real point of it all. That we would all just draw nearer to Jesus, hopefully because of the positive elements of our relationship, but sometimes because of all of this. I'm gonna make my kids need Jesus.
But like, amen. You should make them need Jesus. That's good. You know, like that's I love it, you know, because to your point, like I just feel like that if we were everything, you know, if we all had the story of we had the perfect parents and they gave us everything, and it excuse me, it fulfilled our hearts, and it you know, we were never wanting and we were never lonely. And I don't think that any of that is actually capable, even if we had everything we think we want in this world. Like, but if we, you know, in some reality, if there was a way that a mom could give everything to their child like they want to, you know, all of us need to be not enough, because we all need Jesus. And so whatever our story is with our own moms or with our children, the reality is that the void is there because we are in desperate need of a savior, and so are our children, and so are our moms. And only by his grace do we get to actually have that relationship and be heirs to the throne, be invited and adopted into his family. And how beautiful is that, you know, that we get that and our kids hopefully get that. And it is only by what he can do and by nothing that we can do. And I think that there is freedom in that, to take a breath as parents and to walk in peace and to walk in rest as we strive to do all these things correct and right, and you know, instill God's word in their hearts. And I love worship music for that, Tommy, because I'm like, man, you are just learning scripture. Let's just keep this on in the background, and you don't even fully know that you're learning it, but it is instilled in your heart now. Enjoy.
Whether you want it or not.
Exactly.
Yeah, Steve Green. Charlotte loves Steve Green.
Nice. Yeah. Hide him in your heart.
Yep, that's what her schools played that ever since she was like in preschool. So
That's so great. Yeah, in our homeschool, like, we focused so much more on character and knowing the word of God than we did on academics. I know there's like a, what, really? But the academics and the ability to pursue deeper academics followed because of instilling godly character, right? However imperfectly. And there are memory verses associated with the character program that we like used, and my kids were always like, oh my goodness, I know this memory verse because there's a Steve Green song for it, and they're like, be kind one to another, tender hearted. You know, and they were just like, boom, please give me my M&M, you know, like, I got this. Did I food motivate my kids towards the gospel? Maybe. Do I apologize? Absolutely not, because Jesus also like fed people with fish and bread and stuff. So, you know, there you go.
Well, guys, we are... Oh, Chelsea, did you have something? I'm so sorry. I was just going to say, we're coming close to 2.5 hours, and 2 of us are non-streamers. And so this has been about 8 hours of streaming for us. Thank goodness Tommy, with her headache, still came and led the charge, because there would have been a lot of dead air. No. Because I just would have sat here and like been like, hi, all you pretty people. That's all I got for you.
Well, you know, that's how I started streaming, right? Like, I had a questionnaire of like questions you'd ask a new friend, and I would just like pretend I was having a conversation with myself and like work it into conversation and be like, wow, you know, one of my favorite childhood memories was blah, 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 to like literally no one. And then eventually Beba came in.
Oh, I love that. It went goodbye quick. That is amazing, Tommy. I did not know that, but that does not surprise me either. But I was just kind of, I think that we should close for tonight. I would encourage anyone here who is not in the Discord to come and join us, because we would love, as moms, to continue relationship with you there. And if you have like further questions, or if we just want to continue this discussion in Discord of like, what does it mean to not be our children's saviors, and to have our parents not be our saviors, but really come to Christ with all these things and all these hurts and all these day-to-day questions? We would love to just keep chatting with you about that there. And
we have a super cool women's group, so you should come be part of it if you want. It'd be awesome.
Yeah. Get in there. Yeah. Can I pray us out? Is that okay?
Yes. Love it.
Like... Cool. I'll say a prayer, and then Tommy we'll all say goodnight. Everyone get some sleep. See some solar flares tonight. Okay. Sorry. I'm gonna pray. I promise. Lord, we thank you so much for letting us come before you today, for letting us be community to each other and enjoy each other and build one another up in love. Thank you for those who came and chatted with us and shared with us, and we're willing to really dive into this topic of how do we parent in a way that honors you, Lord. And that is all of our desires. And we just pray this weekend that there is that you are our joy in the midst of some really desperate places, that you are our rest when we are tired, that you are our strength when we are weak, that you give us peace where there is turmoil, Lord. And you just really let us glorify you in our actions and in our thoughts and in our words, and that we can share that love and that joy and that peace and with our family and those around us, and that we can that we can just come before you, Lord, and walk in freedom and take a breath and say, Lord, you've got this. We're here to show up because we love you, and we're going to love those that you place in our way today, including these amazing little gifts of children that you have given us. Help us to trust you more. Help us to follow you with all of our hearts, and we thank you for the gift of what today was. Amen.
Mm-hmm. Amen. Great stream, everybody. Thanks so much for being here, and thanks so much for everyone sharing. I know you guys did great.
Internet issues and all.
Yeah, right. Well, I'm very sorry we do not have a plan to read into the Discord like we have done in the past. So we are just going to say good night tonight, and we love you all, and hope you have a beautiful weekend. And Lord willing, we will see you in next week's streams, whatever they may be. And if you miss us a lot, come to Discord. Love you.
Yeah. Night.
Bye. Good night. Bye, guys.